Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. Today, I'm lucky enough to have my friend Chen lend me one of his Ciga Design watches, the MY series in titanium. So I just want to say a big thanks to Chen for lending me another watch. So conveying the understanding of time through wristwatch design is one of the quotes from the Ciga Design website. And I think that's what they're trying to really achieve with their watches. Trying to be well thought out, trying to be interesting, trying to be a little bit different. Ciga Design is a multi-award winning watch designer that is based in China. And they also say they wish to reimagine watch design by being unpredictably logical. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that, but I think they're just trying to do something a little bit different, a little bit interesting, but also do it well. Now, I do spend a reasonable amount of time researching watches. It is something that interests me. That's why I do this channel. And throughout that time, I have looked at the Ciga Design watches a number of times. But I have to say that I've pretty much overlooked the MY series, purely because the picture on the websites haven't really piqued my interest. So right now I'm going to go through it and give it a full review. I've had it on wrist for some time now. I really wanted to get a good understanding of it. So I really wanted to show you, was my overlooking of this watch the right thing to do, or did I make a bit of a mistake, and have I been rather lucky to have access to it today? Let's flip the camera around now and let's have a look at this watch in depth. So this is the titanium MY series Ciga Design, which retails for around about $300 Australian, or about $200 I think for the stainless steel version. It comes in this fantastic and well thought out and well packaged watch case here, which really looks and sort of feels like a book. The picture here is of Michael Young, which I'm assuming is the designer for this watch, since he's an international renowned designer. You take this initial sleeve off and it opens up into what looks like a book. On the cover here is an embossed copy of what the watch looks like with Michael Young's signature again. Inside the back cover we have the operations manual, which I think is very neat and tidy. It's nice having that inbuilt into the case here. Inside the front there's this nice little window showing you the watch. There's some information about this Michael Young guy. On the next page there's actually all the information about the watch itself, which is very nice. And then the watch is really displayed well with the two bands that come with it, and there's some just a quick details and instructions there. So let's just talk about the dimensions quickly before I start talking about the interesting features about this watch. The case dimension here is 45 millimeters. The width is 11.8 millimeters. The lug width is 22 millimeters, but it is hidden away here. The lug to lug technically is 39 millimeters, but because it's inset behind the case, that doesn't really make much of a difference in the case to this watch here. The weight by itself is 46 grams. The weight with the red strap here is 48 grams. The weight with the leather black strap that comes here is 58 grams. It states that it has 30 milliliters of water resistance, and it has a flat artificial sapphire glass with a mineral glass see-through case back. The case is made from titanium and has sort of like a brushed effect on the top sort of bezel area, well, if it had a bezel, and then underneath it has a sandblasted finish, and that sandblasted finish seems to be everywhere else on the case, even sort of inside on the dial here. The dial appears to be titanium as well and has that concave appearance, sort of like a dish sweeping in from the top down towards the face of the dial. The hour and minute indices are etched into that titanium, and the logo is positioned at the 3 o'clock. The hour and minute hands are skeleton and are really quite long. And you can probably see that minute hand basically touches the outer dial. And there's a little touch of lume at the end of the minute and at the end of the hour there. It's nice to have a splash of colour with that nice red second hand. Just gives a little bit of a pop to the dial. The movement inside is described as a AAA rated or AAA class seagull movement, which has hacking and hand winding. The crown there is signed, and it's sort of tucked away when you're looking straight down, but because of the case shape, It actually gives you a fair bit of grip if you're sort of going in from underneath, which is sort of how you're grabbing onto the crown anyway. The case back is secured by these 4 screws, and the see-through case back lets you see the seagull movement within. The rotor on this movement is slightly decorated. You can see those patterns on there right there. Both the rubber strap and the leather strap have quick release spring bars, and this is what the watch looks like on the supplied red rubber strap on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. I think it fits quite nicely. I certainly think you could get away with a slightly smaller wrist or even a larger wrist. The rubber is also very nice. It seems well made and comfortable. It has some nice hardware attached. It is signed by Ciga Design. It has a slightly round sort of look to it. And under here, there's a little keeper on the keeper, which then locks into the holes on the strap, which is also quite nice. I quite enjoy that. Very comfortable. And here's what it looks like on the supplied leather strap. I think it looks okay, but personally I think the rubber actually suits it a little bit better. This feels a little bit cheap. It's okay, not complaining too much. The hardware appears to be the same, which is also quite nice, but I think the rubber seems to suit it better. And if neither of those take your fancy, you can separately buy this Ciga Design branded mesh strap, which I think suits it quite well. Now let's see what this AAA class seagull movement really means, and I'm going to do that by sticking it on the time grapher. So you can see it has a 21,600 vibrations per hour, has a pretty low beat error, which is good. Amplitude is a little bit low, but it's okay. But it is a little bit fast there, plus 36 seconds. And from my understanding, it is around about plus 30 seconds a day, which I think is within parameters of this movement, but I'm not overly impressed by that. Maybe there's a way of having a bit of a fiddle with it and you can regulate it to get it within a more that sort of 10 to 15 seconds. So what do I think? What do I like? What do I not like? And basically, what are my general thoughts about this watch? Probably my favourite part about this whole watch is that dial shape, that concave sort of bowl shape. It's really quite different. It's really well done, well executed, and I really like how the indices from the hour and minutes are etched into that dial. It's very neat and tidy. I quite like how long the minute, hour and second hands are. It's really nice to see them pushed right out to the edge there. And the case shape. It's a really slightly interesting case. It's well executed, it's well done, it feels good in hand, it looks good. It's just rather interesting. And I do like the finishes that they've put onto this watch. I have to say, it's just really well made. It's really well finished, and I don't really have many bad things to say about the watch. However, really the only problem is that it's just not really to my taste. So I probably wouldn't really want to wear it day to day. But that's just my opinion. So don't let that stop you buying it if you do like the look of it. Because really, it is well made, it's well designed, and I think it's rather a little bit special and a little bit different. I do think, however, and I know what I'm like, this is probably the kind of watch, if I wore it for an extended period of time, I probably would start to like it more and more, especially because of how well it's made. Now I'm not going to bother with a loom shot today on this particular watch. It's just got those 2 little dots there on the hour and the minute hand, so I'm assuming we can all imagine what those 2 little dots look like as they move around the dial. So let's flip the camera around and I'll give you some of my final thoughts about this little Ciga design. So I really have to give Ciga Designs a big thumbs up for this watch. You can see that it's really well thought out, really well designed, really well made. And the only real negatives I can find about it is that that crown is a little bit hard to access, but that doesn't worry me too much. And I guess it would have been nice if the movement was regulated, but at this price point you really can't expect that. I think it's quite a shame that I don't actually really like the look of this watch. If I liked the look of this watch, I would absolutely be buying one myself. Thanks again for watching, really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.